So Webull just dropped their event contracts recently, and I want to dive into how it works and how these hourly event contracts on Webull can be traded. As I've taken a trade, and I'm going to show you guys a live example in this video. So when you're inside of Webull, you'll go over to the Markets tab on the bottom of your mobile app, and you can only do this on the mobile app as of right now, which I'd imagine that will change over time. There is going to be an events icon in the top right that also could change. Right now it's in the top right, maybe that'll get moved somewhere. But there's an events icon in the top right. Click on that. You'll get to a page that looks like this. You may need to actually apply for event contract trading, which should get approved quite quickly. Once that's the case, your page will look exactly like this, unless they change it. And then you'll have options on the bottom to try trading hourly event contracts on the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, which right now, every hour, as I'm speaking right now, there's a 30-minute timer on both of these guys because it is currently 11:29 a.m. now, almost 11:30 in 3, 2, 1. Now it's 11:30 a.m. so there's less than 20 or there's less than 30 minutes. Now it's 29:50. You can see the timer going down on the top left corner of both of these cards. So every hour we can technically go in and take a bet on if the S&P will close above or below a certain price, or if the NASDAQ will close above or below a certain price. So let's jump into the S&P really quick right now. And I currently have a position, which I'll pull up in a second, but this is what the page looks like. So you have the S&P index on the top. You can go to a 1-day, a 5-day, a 1-minute chart, a daily chart if you would like to. So you can scroll around. They give you the cutoff. So right now I have a 12 p.m. or a 12 o'clock cutoff with the little flag and the yellow line showing you once we reach that point on the graph, it's 12 o'clock and now the contract expires. And if we're above or below the price point, I will either get paid or I won't get paid for this being correct or not. My bet of yes or no. So they give you some information there, and we have the ability to change this. So where we have the price point, which is showing at 58.95, there's an option to click on that, and I can change that strike price. So I can move this up or down if I want to bet on different prices. So you can see there's a large or a wide range of prices, and there's a wide range of probabilities for the different prices. To the right of that, or I guess underneath that, there's a buy yes or buy no, and then there's on the far right a position option. So this will show me my open orders and my current positions. So right now on my current positions, I have a position on the S&P 500 above or below 5,890, and the current price is now above that by a decent margin. And I bought this at 45 cents, we can see, and now it's going for a market value of around 72 cents, and this will fluctuate over time. So I'm up 60% on this that I just tested out before the video. So I can now sell it if I would like to before the deadline of 12 o'clock, or I could let it expire. If it expires and the price is above 5,890, which is the position that I currently hold, this contract will expire at $1. And what happens is now I get credit for that contract, which I bought one at $1. So I paid 45 cents and I get $1 back. So I just north of doubled my money if that's what ends up happening by 12 o'clock. Not a guarantee yet, but the closer we get to 12 o'clock and the higher price goes, or if it's above the level as it is, the higher the probability that I will be correct and that this will expire at $1. If I'm wrong, it'll expire at 0, and so I paid 45 cents and I get 0 in return. Simple. Now, if I click on my filled order, you'll see that there's actually a 1 cent fee. So while I did pay 45 cents, there was a 1 cent transaction fee. So my net debit, the net money coming out of my account, is actually 46 cents. That's how these work. So when you take trades on these event contracts, there is a 1 cent fee. So that does potentially eat away into the probabilities. So you make sure you factor that into things. This is continuing to go higher and higher now, little by little. So it looks as if there's a pretty good chance that we are going to be above that level. So let me show you an example. If I was to get back out onto the main screen here and I was to go to a price point, let's say that I was suspecting that we were going to close above 5,900. I click on that price point. Now to buy yes, this is going to cost me 36 cents. So I go into here. I can now set a limit order, which is the only option, and I can set the price I'm willing to pay. So if I was to go, let's say 35 cents, go to 1, buy yes, time and force day. That's the only option we have as well. Now, if I can get a price fill at 35 cents or better, I'm going to get filled. Let's go back out of this page, go to my positions, and now you'll see that we've been filled on 2 positions, the 58.90, yes, and the 5,900 Also, yes, I can click into the new position and we can see how this fluctuates over time. Now, essentially what I could do is almost like double down. It's like I have a position that will likely work out. And so I'm going to make around 64 cents on this position. And if that was to work and we kept going higher, this position now is kind of like, house money in a sense. So that's how it works. Very simple, not super complicated. We just have to, it's just like placing trades. We get in, we get out, we can go into these positions and I can sell them. So now that I bought this, I have a buy one. I would go to sell yes, because I bought the yes option and now I can sell my yes option. So if my yes option goes up or down, I can sell it, whether that means salvaging some cash if it's going against me or locking in some gains if I don't want to have to hold through the full time frame. I can do both of those. And that's what happens when I click on sell. So it's pretty cool, I'll be honest. But in a nutshell, what you're doing is you're essentially making bets on if price will be above or below a certain level by a certain time. Now, there's also the option underneath where it says prediction at 12 o'clock, May 14th, which is the day that I'm making this trade. If I click on that drop-down menu, I can also set it for 4 p.m. So you have two options. You can play every hour, play this game. I play this game like it's like legalized gambling, literally. I could make these bets every hour, or I could just bet on the end of the day. So I can go to the 4 p.m. and say, what is going to happen by the end of the day? Are we going to be above or below a certain level? And I can take my bets. Now, where this gets kind of cool is because there is some sort of strategy involved here, or there can be a strategy involved here. So if you were to build out a trading strategy where when certain things happen in a given day, you have XYZ probability that we're going to be above or below a certain level, and you've done that math or calculated out for your own strategy and built your own edge out. Well, this is an easy way to play that game without having to worry necessarily about time decay. Although to a degree, you could make the argument that it could be factored in here in some sense. But you can go in, select the strike price, and then just say above or below that strike price by saying yes or no, and then let the probabilities play out. And then if you do that and have a strategy and a system over the course of days, weeks, months, and years that has an edge, well, this is absolutely a way to trade where you don't have to deal with options or futures contracts, and you could just simply play the game with event contracts. It's kind of cool. I'm definitely interested. I don't have a strategy built out like that for myself right now, but it does get the gears turning. That's for sure. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below and let me know what you think about event contracts and if you're going to be using them in your own trading. Peace.